All right, let's jump right in, shall we? We're doing a deep dive today into TGL.
Yeah, that's right. This new golf league that everyone's talking about.
Tech-infused golf league. I mean, the name really says it all, doesn't it?
Well, sort of.
I mean, it gives you a sense.
It's a starting point.
It is, definitely. So what we are doing today is basically taking everything we can from TGL's own website and,
Using that as our guide.
yeah, I think this is going to be perfect for people who may have heard the name TGL and are curious about what it is, or maybe they
Want to pick a team.
exactly, yeah, get up to speed really quickly on how it works, who the players are, what's going to be different about it.
And why is such a big deal?
Right. So to start, what is TGL?
Well, it's not just another golf league. That's what's kind of interesting, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, it's trying to be like this totally reimagined version of golf.
Oh, okay. So at a basic level, what's the format?
Think prime time,
Okay,
fast-paced.
like 2 hours.
Yeah, matches wrapped up in about 2 hours. You got teams of PGA Tour pros competing.
PGA Tour pros. Okay. So these are some names that we might know.
Oh, yeah. We're talking big names.
Okay.
And here's where it gets a little crazy, though.
Mm.
It's not just on a course. They're blending this virtual play.
Virtual.
Yeah, like a super high-tech simulator.
Wow.
And then real-life short game action on a physical green.
Okay, I am picturing this in my head, and I am very confused.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but think of it this way. You got the strategic depth of golf,
Mm.
but you crank it up with all these, like data visualizations and visual effects.
Oh, so you're saying it's not just like watching it on a screen. They're adding in all these other elements.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay. And all of this is happening where?
So they had this purpose-built venue, the SoFi Center, down in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Okay, so not at an actual golf course.
Right. So we've got this crazy mix of tech, the speed of the game, and then like a dedicated arena for it.
It definitely sounds like a totally different viewing experience than what we're used to.
Yeah, it's designed to be different.
Yeah.
To pull in a different audience too, probably.
Who are they trying to pull in with this?
I think maybe people who wouldn't typically sit down and watch a whole 18-hole tournament on TV.
Makes sense. All right, so we have this idea of what it is, where it's happening. Now, on to the teams. How many teams are we talking?
6.
6. Okay, 6 teams. Now, you said PGA Tour pros, but what does that actually look like? Like, how are these teams structured?
Each team has got its own identity. Each team's got its own ownership group.
Ooh, ownership groups, and you said some pretty big names are involved.
Oh, yeah, huge EE.
Okay, I'm excited to hear this. So let's run through them. Who do we have?
All right, so first up, Los Angeles Golf Club.
Los Angeles Golf Club, West Coast.
Yeah, and the owners are none other than Alexis Ohanian, Serena Williams, and Venus Williams.
Wow. What do you think their involvement will bring to the league? I mean, that's a lot of star power right there.
I mean, undeniable star power, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to bring in a new demographic for sure, but you have to wonder, will it overshadow the actual golf?
That's a good point. Okay, so star power in LA. What about the next team?
Next up, Atlanta Drive GC, owned by Arthur M. Blank, who also owns the Atlanta Falcons.
So he's a fan of building a winning team, it seems like, across sports. Okay, interesting. Who else?
Then we've got Boston Common Golf, owned by Fenway Sports Group.
Wait, Fenway Sports Group? The folks behind the Red Sox?
The one and only, yeah. They're building a real sports empire over there.
They are. All right, so we've got LA, Atlanta, Boston. Give me another one.
Okay, how about the Bay Golf Club?
The Bay, so like San Francisco Bay Area.
Exactly, yep. And get this, it's owned by Mark Lazaria's Avenue Sports Fund and Stephen Curry.
Stephen Curry, the Golden State Warrior himself.
Yep, he's a golf team owner now.
That's wild. All right, so that's 4 teams, right?
2 more.
Okay, hit me. Jupiter Links Golf Club. That one's owned by, get this, TGR Ventures.
TGR Ventures, wait, is that? Yeah, Tiger Woods Company.
Whoa.
And David Blitzer
Okay, so Tiger Woods is involved in this.
as an owner, yeah.
Okay. Is that a sign that he thinks this league's going to be a big deal?
I mean, it could be. All right, last but not least, New York Golf Club, owned by Stephen Cohen.
Stephen Cohen, the owner of the Mets.
Yep, that's him, bringing that New York energy to TGL.
Okay, so we've got all these team owners. Now, we need to talk about the players. I mean, you said big names, and I am dying to know who they got.
Oh, they did not disappoint. I mean, the roster is absolutely stacked.
All right, so how many players total are we talking about?
24.
24. Wow, okay. And you said some of the biggest names in golf?
Yeah, and I'm not exaggerating here.
Give me some names.
Okay, so first off, Tiger Woods. I mean, duh. Right.
Of course, Tiger.
And then you've got Rory McIlroy,
Okay.
Justin Thomas,
Keep going.
Colin Morikawa, Ricky Fowler.
Wow. Okay, so these are all like household names.
Oh, yeah, the top guys in the game.
All right, so each team has how many players?
They field 3 in these head-to-head matches.
3. Okay.
Absolutely.
So of these names you just mentioned, are there any like standout players or stats that we need to know? Like, why are these guys so good?
Oh, absolutely. So let's start with Tiger.
Okay.
I mean, he needs no introduction, right?
Right.
But just to remind everyone,
Yeah.
he's tied for first all-time in PGA Tour wins.
How many wins is that?
82.
82 wins.
Can you believe that?
No, it's insane.
And then 15 major championship titles on top of that.
Yeah.
Plus, like we mentioned, he's part owner of Jupiter Links.
Oh, right. Okay, so Tiger's obviously one to watch. Who else you got?
All right, how about Rory McIlroy?
Okay, yeah, Rory. What's special about him?
This guy has spent over 100 weeks as the world's #1 golfer.
Wow.
4 major titles, 26 PGA Tour victories. But here's the crazy stat. He's one of only 3 players to win 4 majors by age 25.
25.
Alongside, you guessed it, Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus.
Wow. So he was winning big early. Okay, who else?
All right, we got Justin Thomas.
Justin Thomas, yeah.
Now, this guy comes from a real golfing dynasty.
What do you mean?
Both his father, Andy, his grandfather, were PGA professionals.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, he's carrying on the family tradition.
So it's in his blood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's also got a pretty impressive win under his belt. He became the 8th son of a PGA pro to win the PGA Championship.
Really? Back in
2017.
2017. Okay, all right. Who else?
Let's talk about Colin Morikawa.
Okay, Colin Morikawa.
Known for his accuracy and composure.
Composure, like under pressure.
Big time. He burst onto the scene by winning the PGA Championship in 2020 on his debut appearance.
No way.
And he did it again in 2021 at the Open Championship, also on his first try.
Wow. So he's not afraid of the big stage. Okay, I am intrigued. Who else we got?
All right, last one. Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler, okay.
Always a fan favorite.
Yeah, he's got, like, that cool style.
Right. But did you know he was the #1 ranked amateur golfer in the world back in 2007 and 2008?
Wow.
And he has this fun tradition of wearing orange on Sundays during tournaments.
Orange on Sundays. Why?
To honor his alma mater, Oklahoma State.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay, so those are some of the players, the big names that are involved in TGL. But now let's actually get into the game. Like, what is different about TGL versus traditional golf?
Well, this is where the innovation comes in.
Okay, so we're not just talking about a different course.
Oh, no, they're pushing boundaries here.
Yeah.
They've got this thing called the spear. Have you heard of this?
The spear? No.
All right, so picture this, right?
Okay.
It's the first hole of the match, the lights are low, the crowd is going crazy, and the tension is super high.
Okay, I'm picturing it. I'm in the crowd.
Players from both teams step up to the spear, which is like this futuristic tee-off area.
Okay.
And they have to choose, right? Do they go for a longer, more difficult shot that could give them a big advantage if they nail it? Or do they play it safe with a shorter, more controlled shot?
Oh, I see. So it's like a risk versus reward situation.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Each shot is tracked in real time, and the data is displayed on these huge screens for everyone to see. We're talking speed, trajectory, spin, everything.
So it's not just about hitting the ball far. It's about being strategic and knowing your stats.
Exactly. It adds a whole new layer of excitement, for the players and the fans.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so after the tee-off, then what happens? Where does the game go from there?
Well, that's when we move to the virtual course.
The virtual course. Okay, so this is where the simulator comes in, right?
Exactly. This technology is amazing. It creates this incredibly realistic golfing experience, and the players can actually use the data from the simulator to plan their shots. They can factor in things like wind conditions, elevation changes, all of that.
So it's almost like they have more information than they would on a real course.
In some ways, yeah. And because it's virtual, they can play courses from all over the world.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can go from like St. Andrews to Augusta National, all in one match. It adds a ton of variety.
Okay, that's awesome. So is the whole game virtual then?
Not entirely. After their approach shots, they move to the real-life short game area.
Okay, so this is where we get back to the real world.
Exactly. This is where the chipping, the pitching, the putting, it all comes down to their skills on a physical green.
So you're saying they designed a real-life green just for this?
Yeah. And it's designed to be just as challenging as a real course.
Wow. That's a lot to take in.
A lot of moving parts.
It is. But it also sounds really, really interesting. It's like they're taking the best of both worlds, the precision of technology and the feel of real golf. And how does the scoring work?
Right, so TGL uses this triples and singles match format.
Triples and singles, what does that mean?
So each team, right, has 3 players,
Mhm.
and they're going head-to-head against the other team's 3 players. It really puts an emphasis on the team aspect.
So even though this is high tech, even though this is fast paced, it still demands those real like golf skills that we're used to seeing.
Absolutely. What are your initial thoughts? Are you starting to see why there's so much hype?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see it. It's like they've taken golf and made it, more engaging,
Yeah, for sure.
more accessible.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
they put a lot of thought into creating something that's both innovative, but also still true to the sport.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I'm wondering how the diehard golf fans, like the purists, are going to react.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think they'll embrace it?
Some will,
Yeah.
but some might say it's, too gimmicky,
Yeah.
that it strays too far from tradition.
It'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out, who embraces it, who rejects it.
Yeah.
But I think before we get into all of that, we need to actually look at each team a little bit closer, like what makes them unique.
Right, because there's a lot more to uncover.
Yeah, there is.
Let's get back to the teams.
Yeah, yeah. Each one's got like their own flavor, right?
Totally, yeah. It's not just about the players.
Right, right. So starting with the Los Angeles Golf Club, the one owned by Alexis Ohanian, Serena, and Venus.
Power trio.
What's their like overall vibe?
Well, their whole thing is like fresh perspective, athleticism, style.
Oh, so a little bit of Hollywood in there too.
Oh, for sure. Their roster's pretty amazing. Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa, Justin Rose, and Sahith Theegala.
So like accuracy, power, performing under pressure.
Yeah, you got it. They're definitely built to win.
All right, well, let's head east.
Okay.
Atlanta Drive GC, Arthur Blank's team. What's their deal?
Well, I kind of get this Atlanta vibe from them, that resilience, the drive.
I can see that.
Their roster reflects that, I think.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, Billy Horschel, Lucas Glover.
It's interesting. Those guys are more known for consistency, grit.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, speaking of grit, what about Boston?
Boston Common Golf, Fenway Sports Group, that's classic Boston, right?
Yeah, yeah. Smart strategic play.
Yeah, and who better to lead that charge than Rory McIlroy?
Oh, for sure.
They've also got Keegan Bradley, Hideki Matsuyama, Adam Scott.
That's a really interesting mix. I can only imagine what their home matches are going to be like at SoFi Center. Those Boston fans. Intense.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now we got to head down to Florida.
Jupiter Links GC, Tiger's team,
Yeah.
co-owned with David Blitzer. I mean, you got Tiger as an owner. That definitely raises the stakes.
Big time.
I'm so curious to see how he balances that owner role with actually playing.
Right. Is this like a preview of what he's going to do after he retires from, regular competition?
Maybe, maybe.
So who else is on the team?
Tom Kim, Max Homa, Kevin Kisner.
Interesting. That's a good mix of like rising stars and those seasoned veterans.
Yeah, they could do some damage. Okay, what about New York?
New York Golf Club. Stephen Cohen, owner of the Mets. Bring that New York energy, right?
Oh, yeah, big city, big intensity. And their roster. Matt Fitzpatrick, Ricky Fowler, Xander Schaufield, Cameron Young.
You think their style will work in TGL?
Well, it's all about that aggressive play, So it'll either be a huge advantage or they'll need to adjust. It's like a whole new game, even for these guys.
All right, last but not least,
The Bay.
the Bay Golf Club.
Mark Lasry, Stephen Curry. I mean, come on, Stephen Curry, that's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. It just adds to that whole TGL vibe. Like, this is new, this is different.
It does.
So who's on their roster?
Ludwig Aberg,
Yeah.
Wyndham Clark, Minwoo Lee, Shane Lowry. Again, that great mix of, like, young talent and experience.
So we've covered teams, we've covered owners, we've covered players. Now, I really want to get into the nuts and bolts of this.
The gameplay.
Yeah, how does this all actually work?
It's where it gets fun.
So the spear.
Ah, yes, the
Yeah.
spear. It's not just a gimmick.
Right.
It's strategy. Picture
Yeah.
this. First hole, lights are low, crowd's roaring, tension. You can cut it with a knife.
Oh, yeah.
Players go up to this futuristic tee-off area.
Yeah.
And they got a choice. Longer, more difficult shot could be a huge advantage, or shorter, safer.
But it's not just about the shot itself.
No, because every single thing is tracked.
Oh, right.
Speed, trajectory, spin, giant screens, everybody sees it.
I get it. So it adds this like a whole other level of excitement.
Oh, yeah. So after the tee-off, Then what?
What happens?
Virtual course.
I have a simulator.
Simulator time, super realistic. Players use the data to plan shots. They're looking at wind, elevation. It's incredible.
I mean, they have more information than they would if they were just out there on a course.
They do. And it means they can play courses from all over. St. Andrews 1 minute, Augusta the next. It's global.
It is global.
But then here's the thing. It's not all virtual.
Right.
After the approach shots, they go to a real green.
Real green, chipping, pitching,
The
putting.
real deal, just as challenging as a regular course.
So it really is this back and forth
It is.
between the tech and the real game.
And then there's the team aspect.
Right, right. 3 players, head to head.
They got to work together, make decisions as a team, and these matches are fast. 2 hours. Every shot matters. The pressure's on.
It's intense.
Oh, yeah. Edge of your seat stuff.
Okay, so we got the teams, we got the players, the innovations, the format. But what does this mean for golf, like the bigger picture?
Right. Is this a flash in the pan?
Yeah.
Or is this going to change the game?
I mean, some people are saying it's a threat,
Yeah, some are.
but then others are saying it's what golf needs.
It's like anything new.
Yikes.
Some people push back,
Yeah.
others embrace it.
I mean, it's like, you know how cricket has all these different formats?
Oh, yeah.
You've got like the test matches, the one-day internationals, and then the 2020s.
Right. Each one's unique, but
Yeah.
they all help make cricket popular.
Exactly. Maybe this is like golf's version of that.
It's definitely more accessible, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
These days, it's hard to, grab people's attention.
It's true.
And this format with the shorter matches, it's perfect for, like, streaming, social media, that kind of thing.
Right, right. And they've done a great job at highlighting those like exciting moments.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
The strategic parts.
With the tech, they can show the viewers stuff you wouldn't normally see.
Like what?
I mean, imagine seeing, like, the trajectory of every shot, the spin rate, the wind
Yeah.
conditions, all in real time.
That's cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It makes it so much more like immersive.
It does.
You're really like in the game.
Totally.
And I also think, the social element, like this isn't just something you watch at home by yourself. You
Yeah.
go to the arena, you cheer for your team. It's an event.
It is. It's like they're building a whole new community around golf.
And maybe even inspire some people to go out and play.
Yeah,
Who
definitely.
knows?
You never know.
It's interesting, though, because I think the real measure of success for this might not just be how popular TGL itself becomes.
What do you mean?
I mean, will it actually change traditional golf? Will we start to see those innovations, those changes trickle down?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? Could this be the thing that makes golf as a whole more dynamic, more engaging?
It could be.
It's a fascinating time to be a golf fan.
It really is. And for anyone listening who, is intrigued by what they've heard today, I would highly recommend checking out the TGL website.
Yeah, it's a good resource.
Take the Find Your Team quiz,
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
see who you connect with,
Yeah.
learn more about the players, the branding, everything. There's a lot there to explore.
This is a good overview,
Yeah.
but we just scratched the surface.
We did. There's a lot more to discover.
There is.
But for now, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into TGL.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
And until next time, happy golfing.